Happy Memorial Day. I am so thankful that you decided to click on this video. The first thing I do want to say is definitely thank you to all those who went to serve our country and gave it their all, everything they had. If you have family members that you are remembering today, know that I too am remembering all those who have fallen. If you have served in the military in any aspect, thank you for your service as well. So, hop on to this recipe. So for this recipe, you're going to want a roll of breakfast sausage. I have the Jimmy Dean hot. You're going to want a roll of croissant dough, salt and pepper, some shredded cheddar cheese, and in that bowl I have 12 eggs. I actually in this recipe only used 10. You want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees and brown up your roll of breakfast sausage. I'm having a little trouble getting it out of the roll, but you know, fingers help. Then I'll throw that away, wash my hands, and come back and turn on the burner. While the sausage is browning, it's a good time to go ahead and get everything else ready. I'm just grabbing my pan to spray my casserole. That is a 9x13 lasagna dish. Lasagna pan, I think is what it's called. Just your typical casserole dish will work. I had one that was a little bit smaller that I loved, but I think I gave it to our daughter. But you're going to pop open the can of croissant dough after you've sprayed it down with Pam, and you're going to spread out your croissant dough to kind of cover the bottom and up the sides.
Hit me like a ton of bricks. Doesn't matter, weak or strong. Take your time and do your tricks. All I do is sing along. Yeah, I need you.
Make sure when you're doing this to get all those creases and crevices kind of closed. Otherwise your egg will go up underneath the crust, which is okay. It's going to cook the same, but I'm kind of picky. So I really try to make sure that all those creases and crevices are definitely smushed together. Sometimes you can get the croissants in the sheets, but I have a hard time finding them. I don't know, maybe it's just me, or maybe they just seem to come out seasonally. This takes the most time for me, is making sure all that's done. I know that many people will put milk in with their eggs because they have heard that it makes them fluffier, which actually it's not necessarily true. That myth has been debunked by several chefs. I just use eggs. I don't add any filler, especially for this, because it's actually going to come out perfect. Remember, I told y'all I had pulled out 12 eggs from the get-go. Sometimes I use all 12, but for some reason 10 looked perfect. And so I was going to hold off a second before adding the other in case I didn't need them. Turns out I didn't. So when you've cooked in the kitchen as long as I have, feeding your family, kind of eyeballing things is really, really easy. I'm just using a regular old fork here. I know you can use that fancy thing called a whisk. A fork tends to be the best option for me when it comes to scrambling eggs. I'm just going to add in some salt and pepper. I like to season every part of this casserole just because it really will have a lot of flavor to it. We love these little grinders by McCormick. Even though I have the regular pepper and salt that I use a lot of times cooking, today I just use these. Just whisk all that seasoning in together. And you're gonna see I'm gonna probably, I don't know if I show stir in the sausage or not. I guess we'll see in a second.
Do you remember the time when we were young and wild and free? Do you remember that life we had together? We can fall in love, and we can fall in love, and we can fall in love again, again. And we can fall in love, and we can fall in love, and we can fall in love again.
While I make my family quick breakfast during the week, I really like to make a big breakfast, or at least a more time-consuming breakfast on the weekends. Biscuits and gravy are something that I have been wanting, but we never got around to making it. This casserole is another thing too as well. So maybe next weekend I'll make the biscuits and gravy because that sounds really delicious. This time I strained the grease off of this sausage. Sometimes I don't have to. This had a little bit more than I'd like to add into our casserole. So I'm spreading the sausage in. Just kind of giving it an even coat. I believe that kind of helps the eggs not to go underneath the croissant dough as well. And then this is where I realized that the 10 eggs was perfect. I think had I put 2 more eggs in there, it would have been too many. So, excuse me. And it's so funny because I'm actually fixing to measure out cheese. I never measure out cheese, y'all. It's funny. I just eyeball it. I'm gonna use a 1 cup measure though, because I kind of wanted to see how much cheese I would put on it. Do you guys love cheese? I love cheese, and I really love sausage, egg, and cheese together. This casserole is probably one of my favorite things to prep and to eat when I do make breakfast. So I'm going to spread this 1 cup of cheddar out, and then you're going to see, I put that measuring cup down, and I just grab a handful, which was probably another cup. So it was probably a total of 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. You could use less. We like cheese in our house. And I really wanted a protein-packed breakfast because with today being a holiday, I was not going to prep lunch because I will be grilling some pork chops for dinner. And there you go, guys. That is the easiest casserole in the world. I will add on here that you can add in bell peppers and onions. You can add in green onions. You can swap out the sausage for bacon. You could also add frozen hash browns in with that as well. If you do add the frozen hash browns, I would definitely add the extra 2 eggs. So you're going to put your timer for 25 minutes, and this was breakfast. Watermelon, a breakfast casserole, and I did some hash browns in the air fryer. Yum. That's it. That is probably one of the best breakfasts we've had that also was quick. I love to do pancakes and those kind of things, and on the side I did throw some frozen hash browns in the air fryer, and we had some cut up watermelon. So it was a tasty breakfast. The way I cut that particular casserole, it was into 8 pretty large servings. That is like, I just had it, but I think one of the twins and my husband had hash browns on the side. None of us really had the watermelon. That's just for later. And you can cut that into 16 serving sizes, especially if you're serving it on a buffet with other things. And there are so many additions and changes that you can make with that recipe. I will make sure I leave the ideas down below in the description box. And I hope that you try this recipe. If you do, let me know. Let me know how your family liked it. And if you've tried something similar, I would love to see your video as well. And I will talk to you guys in the next video.
So wrap your arms around me like a borderline. Our fortress in the jungle, baby, we're alright. We don't care much for people like them.